What's going on, everyone? So, Giannis has the Los Angeles Lakers on his list of teams based on recent reports from Howard Beck that both LA teams, as well as both New York teams, as well as Miami Heat and Chicago kind of thrown in there, but really two LA teams, the two New York teams as the top of his list, right? So that's the Lakers, the Clippers, the Knicks, and the Nets, right? The Nets, we know, want him badly. The Knicks, maybe, right? Especially because, you know, you look at a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, they really need to stay afloat at least, right? Because they can't, the problem with Milwaukee is they can't bottom out. They don't have any picks for like the next 5 years, right? So they can't just bottom out. And so you need to trade him to a destination that can give you the players and personnel that can kind of keep you alive and afloat, right? But again, according to Howard Beck, these are the teams. So what he exactly said is the source told Beck that one of the LA teams or one of the New York teams and maybe the Miami Heat are possible landing spots. Beck added that sources may have mentioned the Chicago Bulls and Houston Rockets as well, although he couldn't remember for sure. So if you're, a couple things, right? One, if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, Houston is probably the best destination for you because, again, they can't bottom out. Right, and Houston has enough young talent, young players, right? Could you get a Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, maybe a Şengün, right? Like, you know, can you get 3-4 guys a Reed, right? Can you get 3 or 4 guys from a Houston team? Like, you're almost like, just keep the picks. We want the players, right? Because, again, they cannot bottom out. Miami, okay, maybe you're getting like Tyler Hero, or you're getting like Tyler and Bam, right? Like I just, you know, Jaime Jaquez and stuff. Like Jaime Jaquez had like a terrible season this past season. Like, I don't really see that. Lakers, as much as I would love, never say never, right? We got Luka and all that stuff. I don't really see a scenario where the Lakers land him, right? Yes, you know, Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura might be able to like keep them, but you know, they need a foundation, right? Like, they need young core players. And if I remove my Laker bias for a minute, I think a team like Houston or even an OKC or something like that makes some sense. Supposedly he's willing, he's interested in kind of like, not so much the big markets or anything like that, but just kind of the glamour, as well as, you know, some of these mid-cap teams and stuff like that. So there's several teams that could be an option for him as we move towards this. There were reports, though, that, you know, he probably not going to leave, that it's unlikely that the trade happens, right? Because the Bucks aren't going to trade him unless he wants to be traded. If he goes to Milwaukee and he's like, hey, get me out of here, then they'll end up trading him. If he just kind of is content or just doesn't say anything, then they're not going to trade him, right? But usually when you get reports like this and they're starting to list things, usually that's a sign that like, hey, it's probably coming down the pike, right? We're probably going to get some news of him wanting out, and then it comes to the trade. But here's the thing. The Milwaukee Bucks don't have to trade him, right? Like, I think that they will. I think that they would, just out of good faith and whatnot. And at some point, you got to hit the reset button. Right? Like, they are in purgatory. Like, they are going nowhere. They have no cap, no assets, no nothing. Right? They are stuck. They're about in as bad of a situation as any team could be in. And they just kept digging themselves into it. Right? So they almost have to trade Giannis at some point. But they don't have to trade him unless the package is right. Right? Giannis himself could say, I only want to go to the Lakers. That's the only team I want to go to. Which he has it. Supposedly it's several teams. I say this all the time. If there are several teams involved, the Lakers are very likely at the bottom of that totem pole because of the lack of assets that they have. Could they maybe trade guys, right? Like, if Giannis wants to come to the Lakers, right? Again, Milwaukee could just go, no, they don't have the package. Like, we're not trading you to the Lakers, right? Pick another team. Right, we'll just keep you at that point because they don't have anything. Unless they're trading Luka or something like that, which I don't think the Lakers would do, because the whole point would be to pair Luka and Giannis for the next, 5 years or whatever, however long, Giannis before he starts to decline, right? Like, but maybe what the Lakers could do is, like, can you turn Reeves? Like, how many picks is Reeves worth? Or it could a young team, like if Houston knows, like, hey, we're not getting Giannis, right? Like, could you turn Reeves into a couple pieces from Houston that maybe the Bucks would want, right? Like, could you turn Rui into like some picks or some assets? And, like, can you do some maneuvering in order to maybe get the Bucks what they want in order to now make that move, right? So then now let's say you're able to get a first and, like, two young players. Let's say you're able to get Cam Whitmore and Reed and something else from Houston for like Austin Reeves and, maybe like a swap or something like that. And, maybe get Jabari Smith, right? So now you got like 3 young guys, right? You got Dalton Connect, and then can you turn Rui and something else into like picks, right? And then now it's like, okay, we got, 2 or 3 first and like 4 or 5 young players. Here you go, right? Maybe at that point, maybe you could work something out to where they go, okay, like sure. But again, it's a lot of hoops to jump through, and you would need a lot of teams to work with you, especially if they know, like, oh, you're doing this for Giannis, right? Like, they're probably not going to be as willing to help you. They're probably going to want to fleece you in that regard, unless they're looking at it as like Giannis, Luka, and LeBron will never work type thing, which is a potential. But again, never say never, right? If you've been even a basketball fan long enough, right? There's a lot of crazy things that have happened, but especially as a Laker fan, right? Like Lakers tend to get the guys that they want, but there's just, again, like Lakers are just probably in the worst position possible right now. And like, I know a lot of people, again, look at like the Luka trade and go, hey, look, we got Luka. Yeah, but we traded Anthony Davis to get that. Anthony Davis, a first round pick, and Max Christie, who was looking like a legit 2-way young player in this league, right? So, like, we didn't just trade. We didn't just get, Luka for Rui, Gabe Vincent, and whatever, whatever else, right? Like, we got him for Anthony Davis, who is another, top 10 player in the league when healthy. So, to think like, then now we're going to go turn essential scraps into Giannis, I just think it's very unlikely. If Giannis was on an expiring deal, like, so Kevin Durant could say, I only want to go to Lakers, right? Kevin Durant could pull in Anthony Davis, right? What Anthony Davis did, which was like, hey, yeah, you could trade for me, but I'm leaving in a year and I'm just going to go sign with the Lakers, right? So that's always a real possibility. But with Giannis, can't do that. Giannis has multiple years still on his deal. So he could say, I want to go to Lakers. There's a team that will do the Donovan Mitchell thing, right? Why did Cavs do the Donovan Mitchell thing? Because he had multiple years still. So they were like, yeah, he doesn't want to go here. He wants to go to Miami and all these other places. Like, he doesn't want to come here, but let's trade for him and then convince him to stay. And guess what? It worked. Now, we have seen times and occasions where it didn't work, but, if you make the right moves and you do the right things, right? Like, a team like Detroit, like Giannis could be like, I don't want to go to Detroit, right? But Detroit could be like, we'd have Giannis for like a couple years, pair him with Cade Cunningham, right? We'll just trade everything else and then just like build a contender, right? Like, all of a sudden you got the core and foundation and enough to maybe win a championship. It's like the only teams we have to compete with is Boston and the Cavs. Boom, let's go, right? Like, so you never know what another team is thinking and what another team would do. And if you're the Bucks, like, yeah, you want to do right by Giannis to the best of your ability, but you don't want to just like give him away, right? Like, you don't want to just be like, okay, so like I said, like, you at that point you might as well just buy him out and let him go, right? Like, it's just like if you're the Bucks, you don't want to put yourself in a worse position, right? To where now, you're the worst team in basketball and all these other teams are getting your draft picks. And it's like, all right, so now we're going to be terrible for the next 15 years, right? Like, if you're the Bucks, you want to get something in return. You want to get some type of value. But again, like, there's always ways to work it out. Any Giannis trade is probably going to have to be a 3-team deal, right? So, if you're the Lakers, can you find a third team that's willing to help kind of facilitate that? A team that's like, we got a couple young guys we're not like super sold on or something like that, right? Like, or does a team like Detroit, do they look at Austin Reeves and go, because they wanted Austin Reeves, right? Do they look at Austin Reeves and go like, hey, he'd be great. I know Austin Reeves said like, I ain't going to Detroit type thing, but like, does Detroit look at it and go like, hey, we'll take our chances with Austin Reeves type thing, and we'll give you, Ivy and whatever else, right? And maybe you can facilitate a trade, right? Like, I don't. It's tough because the Lakers, again, they don't have like a Houston treasure trove or, an OKC treasure trove or something like that. And how much does he really want to go to Lakers, right? Because, I mean, if he only want to go to Lakers, then I only want to go to Lakers, right? But he's open to 6 teams, right? Like, both LA teams and the Clippers. I mean, the Clippers have better assets, as crazy as that sounds, to trade for Giannis than the Lakers do. So, I mean, it's one of those things where if you're the Bucks, it's like, would you rather have Reeves and, Rui, or would you rather have like Norman Powell, Chris Dunn, whatever, like all the, like, whatever young guy, Mir Coffee, all these whatever young guys that they have left. And I mean, they could even trade like a James Harden or something like that if they wanted to, or Kawhi Leonard, be like, hey, we'll trade you Kawhi Leonard because Giannis is healthier than Kawhi type thing, right? Although if you're the Clippers, you probably want to pair Kawhi with Giannis, but like, it's just, and then the Knicks, I mean, the Knicks have, several guys that, for a team that wants to stay afloat, that's the key. They want to stay afloat, right? To me, if I'm the Lakers, your best bet is to probably try to like piece things together, right? Like, can you get in on like another, like, can you be the third team in the Giannis trade type thing? That's where I think the Lakers should get on board. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Feel your thoughts. You agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mix in the middle. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.